Hi students, good morning. Welcome to our video classes. In the previous classes we have started about 15th chapter, that is some natural phenomena. In that chapter already we have learned how the objects or bodies acquire static electricity. Let us learn about this static electricity. If the charges are in motion, that is current electricity, and if the charges are at rest, that is static electricity. For example, in a simple electric circuit, what makes the glowing of a bulb? Charges which are in motion, simply that is current electricity. And in the case of rubbing an object like plastic comb or inflated balloon, this plastic comb or inflated balloon attracts small pieces of paper, that means charge is acquired to that body, that is static electricity. How rubbing or friction charges various objects. We have different objects that are made of metals or non-metals or conductors or insulators. Different objects are there. The different objects are glass rod, silk cloth, rubber balloon, woolen cloth, plastic comb, air, ballpoint, pen refill, polythene sheet, woolen cloth, like that. All these are different objects. That means substances. How all these substances are made of? All these substances are made of tiny particles called as atoms. Tiny particles means that are very small particles. How small are these? Are these particles are visible to our naked eye? No, these are not visible to our naked eye, and these are not visible to electron microscope also. For example, if a building is, how that building is made of? The building blocks of that building are bricks. How the building is made of bricks, in the same manner every matter is made up of small particles. For example, a chalk piece is taken. If we rub that chalk piece, small particles of dust are formed that are visible. If that all the small particles aggregate and form that small piece of chalk. In the same manner, every matter is made up of tiny particles that are called as atoms. These atoms means that are indivisible particles. Like up to the 19th century, scientists proved that matter is made up of small particles are called as atoms. But in 20th century, so many scientists conducted so many experiments. What we call as a smallest particle, that is not really smallest. Again, these small particles are also made of some other small particles. That means some particles are also there which are still smaller than the atoms, that are called as subatomic particles. That means all the contains mainly, all the substances, atoms contains mainly three types of subatomic particles, that are electrons, protons and neutrons. These electrons are negatively charged particles, protons are positively charged particles. That means if we take any substance, that substance is made of some tiny particles called atoms. Again, that atoms are made of some subatomic particles, electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, don't get confused, observe carefully. Some electrons, protons and neutrons together aggregate, and what are formed? Atoms are formed, and these atoms are combined and a substance or object that is formed. For example, if we take a water droplet, water drop, in that water drop so many water molecules are there. Again, that water molecules are made of some atoms, hydrogen and oxygen atoms, and these hydrogen and oxygen atoms are made of some subatomic particles, electrons, protons and neutrons. Like that, if we take any uncharged object, in that uncharged object, what are the particles present? Electrons, protons and neutrons. These number of positively charged particles, protons, and negatively charged particles, electrons, these are equal in number. If the positive charges and negative charges are same in number in any object, then what about the net charge, overall charge? Net overall charge is 0. Why it is 0? In that the number of electrons means negatively charged particles, and in protons that are same in number. In mathematics you have learned. Okay, if the negative number is equal to positive number, then its net charge is 0. In the same manner, if we take any uncharged object means before rubbing, the number of negatively charged particles, electrons and positively charged particles, protons are present. And how these electrons, protons and neutrons are arranged? These positively charged particles are held inside the nucleus, and that protons that are not transferred from one substance to another substance when that are rubbed. Why the protons are not transferred? These protons are held strongly inside the center of the atom, which are held or hold inside the center of the atom, that are not transferred. Then what about the other particles that are negatively charged particles, that are loosely held, means that exist outside the nucleus. If they are outside the nucleus, then that are free from the nucleus, that means that are held loosely. That's why when these substances, when a glass rod is rubbed with a silk cloth or an inflated balloon is rubbed with a woolen cloth, then these electrons are transferred. Electrons are loosely packed in the atom. That's why these electrons, means negatively charged particles, are only transferred from one object to another object when that are rubbed. If the electrons are transferred from one object to another object, for example, a glass rod is taken. That glass rod is rubbed with silk cloth. These electrons are transferred from the surface of the glass rod to silk cloth. That means in this case, this glass rod loses electrons. It loses electrons means at first the number of positively charged particles and negatively charged particles are equal in number, but it loses some electrons. Then it loses some electrons means some negatively charged particles are lost. Then its net charge is positive charge. That's why this glass rod acquires positive charge. And what about this silk cloth? This silk cloth gains electrons. Why? These electrons are transferred from glass rod to silk cloth. Means glass rod loses electrons and silk cloth gains electrons. That's why this glass rod acquires positive charge, silk cloth acquires negative charge. Like that, this rubbing acquires the charges. Like this, the bodies acquires charge. That may be positive charge or negative charge. Already we have learned how many types of charges are there. There are two types of charges. Why? Two types of subatomic particles, charged subatomic particles are present in an atom. And neutrons are neutrally charged particles. That's why two types of charges. What are the two types of charges? Positive charge and negative charge. And already we have learned the laws of electric charges. What are the laws of electric charges? Same charges repel with each other and opposite charges attract with each other. Let us observe to know, let us perform an activity to know the laws of charges. For this, take two inflated balloons. Two inflated balloons are taken and hang them as shown in figure A. Whenever they hang, that are in which position? That are straight position. That means the two are parallel to each other. The two are inflated balloons. And take a woolen cloth. Rub these two inflated balloons with this woolen cloth. That means which sides are facing with each other in the two balloons, that side of the balloon are rubbed with this woolen cloth. When these two are rubbed and facing, the two balloons are rubbed with woolen cloth and that are placed like this, then what happens? That they move away from each other. They move at first in the first case, that means before rubbing, that are in straight position, vertical position, that means that two are parallel to each other. But whenever after that are rubbed, they move away from each other. They move away from each other means what is happening here? That are repelled with each other. In the first case, that are uncharged. In the second case, these two are charged. Whenever this inflated rubber balloon is rubbed with silk cloth, then electrons are not silk cloth, sorry, woolen cloth. Electrons are transferred from woolen cloth to inflated balloon. That means this inflated balloon acquires which charge? It gains electrons. That's why it acquires negative charge. The other balloon also acquires negative charge. Why? These two acquired same charge, negative charges. These two things, means balloons are made of same material, and again these two are rubbed with the same material. That's why same charge is acquired to both these balloons. Which charge it is? Negative charge. Whenever negative charge is acquired to the balloons, these two are repelled. They move away from each other. That's why from this we can say clearly same charges, that means negative charges, repel with each other. Let us observe another activity to know let us observe one more activity with glass rod and silk cloth to know how these charges are act. In this case, take a glass rod, here in this case plastic refill is taken. Glass rod necessary, not necessary, plastic refill, that means already used ballpoint pen refills are taken too. And hold one hand of this refill with the hand, and other hand is rubbed with silk cloth or polythene cloth. Here what are the materials taken? In plastic refill and polythene cloth, polythene sheet or piece of polythene sheet. This refill is rubbed with polythene sheet. While we are rubbing, one hand is hold with your hand and the other hand is rubbed with polythene sheet. After rubbing, place this refill, plastic refill, in a glass tumbler. That means this glass tumbler is used as a stand to hold this plastic refill as shown in the figure. But while placing this plastic refill in the tumbler, take care that the rubbed portion is in upward position and the uncharged portion, that means which is not rubbed, where their ballpoint is there, that is in the beaker, like that are placed. One and another refill is also taken. Repeat the same activity, that means that is also rubbed with polythene sheet. If these two refills, which type of refills these are? Charged refills, ball pen refills, placed in the glass tumbler such that are almost close to each other, but these two are not contact with each other, then again what happens? They move away from each other. That means that are also repelled. Why they are repelled? That means we decided that both these two refills acquire same type of charge. Actually, which charge is acquired? That means which charge is attained to this ball pen refill? When this ball point pen refill is rubbed with polythene sheet, electrons are transferred from refill to polythene sheet. That means refill loses some electrons. That's why this refill attains which charge? Positive charge. If one refill acquires positive charge, then the second refill also same positive charge. Why? Here both are ballpoint, both are made of same materials and both are rubbed with same material. That means these are plastic refills and rubbed with polythene sheet. That's why the charge acquired to the two refills is same. Which charge? That is positive charge. Same, we know same charges repel with each other, that's why they move away from each other. That means from these two activities we understand clearly same type of charges repel with each other, that means move away from each other. In the first activity, that inflated two balloons acquires negative charge, and in the second activity these rubber refills acquires positive charge. Both these repel with each other. Next, what about the opposite charges? To know, again perform an activity. In this activity, what are the materials required? Again, one inflated balloon. Next, to rub that inflated balloon, woolen cloth. Next, a plastic refill, already used ballpoint pen refill, that is rubbed with polythene sheet, and a glass beaker. That means rub inflated balloon, woolen cloth, refill, polythene sheet, glass beaker. These are the materials required. First, rub this refill with polythene sheet. Already we have done how we have done in the same manner. Rub this refill with polythene sheet. We know it acquires positive charge, that is placed in the beaker. And rub the inflated balloon with woolen cloth. This charged, both acquires charge. This charged inflated balloon is, that means which is rubbed, is placed near the charged refill. What happens? These two are attracted with each other as shown in the figure. How these two are attracted with each other? We know clearly this balloon acquired attains negative charge, and refill acquires positive charge. These two are opposite charges. We know opposite charges attract with each other. Okay, that's why these come closer by themselves. But while students, observe one thing. While performing these activities, if one hand is held with our hand and the other hand is rubbed with that corresponding object, after rubbing, don't touch the rubbed portion with your hand. Why? If you touch the rubbed portion with your hand, then that is discharged. That means the charge is transferred from this charged portion to your hand, and from your hand to body and body to earth, like that it is discharged. That's why don't touch the rubber, never don't touch the rubber portion with your hand while performing these activities. Okay. Then how to know how the charge is transferred, or is the charge present on a rubber body or not? We use a device. Actually, when an electrician or conductor repairs in our homes or somewhere, to detect the flow of charge, that means is the charge flows through a circuit or not, what is used by this electrician? A tester is used. That means to know the flow of charge, to detect the flow of charge, we use a tester. Already we know how to make a tester. In the same manner, is the charge resides on the outer surface of a body, that means either charge is present on a rubber body or not, we use a device that is called as electroscope. Which device it is? Electroscope. Then what is an electroscope? To detect the presence of charge on a charged body, an electroscope is used. We can make an electroscope easily. Then let us know how to make a simple electroscope. To make this simple electric circuit, the materials required are a glass bottle. That means it is better to take a jam bottle, a glass bottle, and a paper clip, and an aluminium foil and cardboard sheet. These are the materials required. What are the materials? Glass bottle, cardboard sheet, paper clip, and an aluminium foil. It is better to take that the aluminium foil is length is 5 centimeters and width is 1 centimeter. The type of aluminium foil is taken. Aluminium foil means thin aluminium strip. It is better to take that its thickness is just like the thickness of a leaf. If that aluminium foil is taken, then we can easily perform these activities, and these are the materials required. Then how to construct this an electroscope? This jam bottle is taken and paper clip. Open the paper clip. That means that is folded. Remove the folds. It is unfolded and open. Open it just like its shape is just like 5 as shown in the figure. Like that, open a paper clip, and to the paper clip, this aluminium sheet is hanged. That means the aluminium sheet is folded and it is hanged to the paper clip as shown in the figure. When it is hanged, then this aluminium strip, actually it is one strip, if it is folded and it is inserted to the paper clip to the hanger, it is just like attains V shape. But these two leaves are almost close to each other, but that are not contact with each other, like that are folded and it is hanged to the paper clip. And a cardboard sheet is taken. Make a small hole, thin small hole, or pierce a small hole at the center of the cardboard sheet and pass the paper clip. Insert the paper clip through the small hole as shown in the figure, such that this hanger on which the aluminium foil is inserted, that is in downward portion, and other end is at the upward portion, like that it is inserted to the cardboard sheet. And this cardboard sheet, which is size is just slightly higher than the mouth of this jam bottle, and in which the paper clip is inserted, that is placed on the mouth of the jam bottle as shown in the figure. But while we are placing, take care that the aluminium foils which are inserted on the paper clip, that are inside the bottle, and other end of the paper clip is outside the bottle, like that we arranged. Then our electroscope is ready. Then how do you detect this presence of charge with this electroscope? To detect the presence of the charge with the electroscope, take a charged body. Charged body means, which charged body is taken? Simply take a glass rod. That hold one end with your hand and the other hand is rubbed with silk cloth. And that means one end of the glass rod acquires charge. That means it is a charged body. Place this charged body on the top end of the metal clip such that this charged body is contact with the metal clip and focused. Whenever you place this glass rod on the top end of the metal clip, at the same time focus your vision on the aluminum foils. Do you observe any movement in that aluminum foils? Yes, momentarily. That means at that moment whenever you place a glass rod on the paper clip, we observed these two aluminum foils are diverged. That means they move away from each other by themselves. How they move away from each other by themselves? Due to motion of air, that means due to air currents? No. Why? That means it is trapped. The bottle is closed, that's why outside air doesn't enters into the bottle, or inside air doesn't comes out from the bottle. Then how these two are diverged? That means wide opened by themselves. These two are wide open because whenever the glass rod is placed on the metal top of the metal clip, we know a conventional glass rod acquires which charge? Positive charge. Then this positive charge is transferred from the metal clip to the aluminum foils. That means both these aluminum foils acquires same charge, then they move away from each other. That's why that are diverged. Like that, the charge is transferred from one body to another body. By using the device, we can easily detect the presence of a charge. Not only glass rod, any charged body is taken. If the charged body is placed on the top of the metal clip, then these two are diverged. Means what is happening? That means some charge resides on the body which is placed on the metal clip. If that are not diverged, then it is not a charged body. If they are diverged, then it is a charged body. Like that, we decide the presence. We detect the presence of charge by using this electroscope. Then after this, if we touch the metal clip with our hand, actually what happened? They regain their original position. Why they regain their original position? If we touch the metal clip, top end of the metal clip with our hand, the charge which resides on the aluminum foil and metal clip, that is transferred to our body and from body to the earth. That means this is discharged. If it is discharged, then these two regains their original position. Like that, the charge is transferred from one body to another body. Okay, students, again, I hope that you understood how the bodies are acquires this charge, and in the next classes we have learned about lightning and thundering. Thank you.